Miss Clarence was about 35 and had lived in Greenwich Village for 12 years. When she was 23, she had come to New York from a small town upstate because she wanted to be a dancer, and because everyone who wanted to study dancing or sculpture or bookbinding had come to Greenwich Village then, usually with allowances from their families to live on, and plans to work in Macy's or in a bookshop until they had enough money to pursue their art. Miss Clarence, fortunate in having taken a course in shorthand and typing, had gone to work as a stenographer in a coal and coke concern. Now, after 12 years, she was a private secretary in the same concern and was making enough money to live in a good village apartment by the park and buy herself smart clothes. She still went to an occasional dance recital with another girl from her office, and sometimes when she wrote to her old friends at home, she referred to herself as a village diehard. When Miss Clarence gave the matter any thought at all, she was apt to congratulate herself on her common sense in handling a good job competently and supporting herself better than she would have in her hometown. Confident that she looked very well in her gray tweed suit and the hammered copper lapel ornament from a village jewelry store, Miss Clarence finished her frosted and looked at her watch again. She paid the cashier and went out into 6th Avenue and began to walk briskly uptown. She had estimated correctly. The house she was looking for was just west of 6th Avenue, and she stopped in front of it for a minute, pleased with herself, and comparing the building with her own presentable apartment house. Miss Clarence lived in a picturesque brick and stucco modern. This house was wooden and old, with the very new front door that is deceptive until you look at the building above and see the turn-of-the-century architecture. Miss Clarence compared the address again with the ad in The Villager, and then opened the front door and went into the dingy hallway. She found the name Roberts and the apartment number 4B. Miss Clarence sighed and started up the stairs. She stopped and rested on the 3rd landing and lit another one of her cigarettes so as to enter the apartment effectively. At the head of the stairs on the 4th floor, she found 4B, with a typed note pinned on the door. Miss Clarence pulled the note loose from the thumbtack that held it and took it over into the light. "Miss Clarence," she read, "I had to run out for a few minutes, but we'll be back about 3:30. Please come on in and look around till I get back. All the furniture is marked with prices. Terribly sorry, Nancy Roberts." Miss Clarence tried the door, and it was unlocked. Still holding the note, she went in and closed the door behind her. The room was in confusion. Half-empty boxes of papers and books were on the floor. The curtains were down, and the furniture piled with half-packed suitcases and clothes. The first thing Miss Clarence did was go to the window. On the 4th floor, she thought, maybe they would have a view. But she could see only dirty roofs and, far off to the left, a high building crowned with flower gardens. Someday, I'll live there, she thought, and turned back to the room. She went into the kitchen, a tiny alcove with a 2-burner stove and a refrigerator built underneath, with a small sink on one side. Don't do much cooking, Miss Clarence thought. Stove's never been cleaned. In the refrigerator were a bottle of milk and 3 bottles of Coca-Cola and a half-empty jar of peanut butter. Eat all their meals out, Miss Clarence thought. She opened the cupboard, a glass and a bottle opener. The other glass would be in the bathroom, Miss Clarence thought. No cups. She doesn't even make coffee in the morning. There was a roach inside the cupboard door. Miss Clarence closed it hurriedly and went back into the big room. She opened the bathroom door and glanced in. An old-fashioned tub with feet, no shower. The bathroom was dirty, and Miss Clarence was sure there would be roaches in there, too. Finally, Miss Clarence turned to the